Hey there, it's Greg, the Masked Gamer, and I am here to do my first quick start playthrough of Dreamescape by Bad Cat Games. Um, this is actually a lot bigger of a setup than I expected for a solo game, but we'll see how it goes. For those of you who are new to my channel, this is a place for COVID cautious folks to talk about board games. You don't need to be COVID cautious in order to be here with us, provided there is no minimization, denialism, or harassment of any kind. With that said, I am here by myself today, so I'm going to take off my mask because I hate wearing it as much as anybody else does, but I do it, keep myself safe. And you know what? I haven't been sick since 2021. Boom! Oh yeah. All right. Anyway, so this is a big layout for a game that is basically just reading and cards. You can see here I'm using the ultra wide setup because this is how we're gonna see the whole board. If I tried to use my little zoomy in version, we don't see we're just not gonna see everything. So we're doing it like this until somebody decides to rig me up a whole thingamabob. Now I'm not sure if I've used this playmat correctly. It doesn't quite look like the playmat that was in like the previews from 3 years ago. But what we've done is we've put our player board here, which is gorgeous. The player board is just beautiful. Look at this. Here is the player board. It's just gorgeous, and your character sheet goes all the way in and all the way out, so you can see what your abilities are, and then you can flip it over when you level up to get other abilities. It's just I love how they built this. I just think it's beautiful. Okay, so we have that. Over here we have locked story cards for the realm we're in. Here I've put our threats. I've put all of my reference cards here. I've put my description of my character here. My shard level, which I guess is kind of like health in a way here. The open location deck that we're in here, which is Celephaïs, and we'll show those cards later. Condition deck, lower deck, unlock open items, locked items, our 8 other realms that are available, our locations that are available, our event track, which you can't even really see, but there's a little blue thingy on it. Maybe if I no, it is what it is. And then some locked story decks for the other locations, some tokens. We've got metal runes that we are going to. Where's my little set of runes? We have metal runes that we're going to throw into the dice tray, and this is, I think, what they were trying to make be a clever little thing, but I don't think it's going to be because when you have a two-sided thing and you throw them, the odds of them like it's not really a 50-50 chance if you ask me. But yeah, that is what it is. So all right, so we've done all the setup stuff for the quick start tutorial. Um, you know what I forgot? Nope, I didn't forget. I have water here for myself. Excellent. And the only thing that our stupid watermark is blocking is my mouse pad today. So here we go. So we set Rosalind's starting stats based on the rulebook. You're not going to be able to see this one 100% close. She has 1 deja vu, 1 lucid dream, 9 sanity, 9 vitality. She can hold 13 item cards, and she can have 13 item cards and 6 reward cards. We always will start with the strange heirloom artifact, number 1. That's here. Um, my most prized possession passed down through the years. This always has to be one of your 3 locked cards. That's why it's here, and it lets you throw this extra rune when you want to in a thing. The problem with this rune is it's got a success on one side. It's a bunch of maybe successes, but on the other side, it has the nasty Cthulhu symbol, which is one of the things that will make us die potentially. Blah blah blah. Then we took 3 cards from the starting gear set. Normally this would be random cards from cards 2 to 14, but in this demo, in this tutorial, quick start, whatever the fudge this is, we're going to draw cards 4, 8, and 13. So card number 4, we have Trusty Slippers. This is going to give us a bonus to our stealth, and it says, I'm not going to do a Spanish accent for her. It's just not happening. It says, I felt oddly comforted to know that I had my trusty moccasins with me, and that's worth one barter. We have earthly coins, which are worth two barter, helpful in trade. I found a small pile of coins from home in a pocket. Would they be worth anything here too? And finally, a feathered hat. Feathered hat. My favorite hat has singled me out as a stranger to the Dreamlands. Only sometimes was this an advantage. Now, one of the and we're going to keep going here. We want to protect these, so we're going to choose two of them to place in our protected slots, and the other one will be a regular item that we're going to just put over here somewhere. Now we can tell because we don't know this yet, but we know this because of the tutorial. We know that we're going to start in Celephaïs, and in Celephaïs we have trade, performance. I forget what the sanity thing, and I guess that's charisma or talkativism. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure we keep the things that are going to be most useful to us here, which according to that card are going to be the earthly coins and the feathered hat. And then we're going to take this trusty slippers and plop it over here in our, we'll call it our backpack, I suppose. I don't really know how this board's supposed to be laid out, but this is how we're doing it. Um, yeah, great. Okay, cool. Now, technically speaking, I probably could push this all forward and hurt my back and zoom in a little bit, but that's just not how we're doing this today. Okay. Because I'm realizing these cards up here I don't need. I only need what's actually on the map. Do I want to try fixing that for you? Let me see if I can try fixing that for y'all. Hold on. We're gonna do some live rejiggering here as I realize that all of these decks of cards that I have up here are not really required to play the game. So if I slide all of these on up, sliding up, sliding up, sliding up, sliding up, sliding up, sliding up, and we're gonna take our friend here. We're gonna try moving this whole pad on up, and we're gonna see if this means I can give you a better view. Let's find it. Slide this here. You could see almost all of it. Yeah, I think this is good. I think we can stick with this. We're gonna take our event tracker and we're gonna put that here for now. Maybe we'll move it later. But I think this gives this looks much better for everyone at home. So this is what we're gonna do, and I think it's gonna be fun. All right, cool. Next we have we take the one shard card. Now, normally this would be the two shard card, but here we're going to use the one shard card. On the lower part of it, I can spend 4 deja vu to gain 1 lucid at any time. On the upper part, I get 1 lucid dream right now. So I'm going to add up my lucid to 2. And this also specifies 4 potential starting realms. Normally, we would shuffle those 4 and randomize them, but for this, we're just using the Celephaïs one that we said before. We put her character marker on there, and my camo stopped working. So, is it working now? It like froze out or something. Let me try to fix this. Sorry, y'all. Boom, boom. Okay. So, and no, it's working now. All right. That was weird. It just kind of froze out. Okay. So we are now ready to join one of Rosalind's. Oh, and we placed the event marker on the bottom here. We're ready to join one of Rosalind's scattered dream fragments, exploring the fair city of Celephaïs. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm also going to read the character background for Rosalind, so we know what all that is. Cool. I already like the first sentence. I'm going to have to try to do a southern accent, aren't I? I'm not going to do a southern accent. No accents today. Voodoo is a part of my family. I'm doing a bad one anyway. Tracing back from many of our ancient Louisiana families to the earliest African tribes. My mother is Christian, but also a Mambo. My aunt was a Caplata? Ooh, I feel silly. Our family is allied to the Simbi Loa. I am no Mambo, but I dream and I have nightmares. I know and accept the reality of Cthulhu and his cult of great old ones. Ever since that night in 1907 when my aunt was killed deep in the swamps while aiding Inspector Legrasse and the New Orleans police, I saw through her eyes, saw the awful writhing of the cultists, heard the chanting of words that held impossible power. I still hear that chanting, whispering far off in the darkest moments of night, and I know that dread Cthulhu still remembers my family. My dreams are no longer my own. I have seen his shadow. I felt his presence stalking me through the weed-choked bayou. Only the Loa can protect my family from the great wave that is coming. And you'll note this card has a key icon on it. So if I match this little voodoo icons up with something that could I don't know, make a thing happen. What is this card supposed to be? Ah, that is our shard card. Okay, we're gonna put the one shard there. And here we go. Celephaïs. Phase one is the encounter phase. We are going to draw the first story card from the Celephaïs deck. This would normally be shuffled and random, but in this instance, we're going to draw card 615, which I have put on the top because I thought ahead and I was here's card 615. Sometimes these cards have some cute little art on the top, sometimes they don't. But that's pretty much all the art you're going to get in this game. What's on the top? Everything else is words, words, words. Okay. Dusk found me at the seaward wall, where the stevedores and sailors from regions beyond the Serenarian Sea gathered to trade tales. The harbor water sparkled with a million shining motes to match the twinkling lights appearing throughout the city above, as sunset tones gave way to the indigo veils of night. Majestic merchant galleys rode the quiet ripples near spice-fragrant wharves full of painted fishing boats from towns down the coast. Ever new seemed this deathless city, for here time had no power, and the same ships as of old still rested at anchor, waiting for cargoes that perhaps never arrived. Now you'll notice there is a key code on the bottom left of this card, but we don't have anything that matches that key code, so we ignore it for now. And that's all we do. That's phase one, the encounter phase. Now we go to phase two, the reaction phase. And in the reaction phase, there are three different reaction options on the bottom of this card. You can see what they are there. And these are like the tests we can choose to do to resolve the card. So the first two are difficulty 0 and automatic successes. The negotiation one on the bottom is harder, needing 3 successes. But if we wanted to apply Rose's bonuses, we would be able to potentially attempt it. Phase 3, resolution. Let's see, our text here is Athebe sits on a crate of Shogun spice, just like on previous occasions. You may greet him as before. Or you can spend the evening enjoying Celephaïan delights. Ooh, that sounds fun. It never costs, and there's never a success metrics to use something that costs time or movement. Those are always automatic successes. And finally, we can ask the revelers about gates to the waking world, which is what we want to do. We want to escape the dream, but whatever. The option about AFib sounds interesting, so we choose that, succeeding at the Talkie 0 test. And we have Talkie 0. So can we always do a Talkie 0 even if we don't have the skill? That's a good question. I'm going to find that out right now. When we do a skill, symbol modified, you do not need to memorize these. I am not sure. I think I just get an extra token if I have the skill. I think I can attempt anything even if I don't have the sadness. All right. We're going to flip the card over and read only the part that refers to that symbol on the back. So here's the back of the card. Oh, wait. No, this is right. So if we had tried a test and failed, we would have flipped this over and done the other side, but we succeeded. So we read the bottom portion, but only the part for the speaky symbol, because that's the one we used. So this says, Athebe greeted me as an old friend and offered to share some of his stagweed. So we are going to gain item 22 from the open items. So let's find 22. And this is some stagweed. It's stagweed. Stagweed is a food. Dreamlanders would chew this weed they called scrap for its strong stimulant properties. I prefer to smoke it. And you can use this to give yourself +1 deja vu, but then you have to do something called a fade test, which might make you completely lose the item. So you can only do that so often. And that also has some key icons on it that might help us with some other things. So we could swap this with a protected card if we wish, but as soon as you try to swap something with a protected card, the protected card might fade, and we don't want to risk our coins or our hats, so we're not going to do that. Finally, this card tells us to draw locked story card 621. Since 615 is now completed, we can gain the card for the rewards shown instead of storing it. Okay, or we can store it for later. So on the bottom, you'll see we can either get +1 to the brainy thing, +1 sanity, or +1 deja vu. According to the instructions here, and I don't know why, we are going to use this card for +1 deja vu. So we're going to add that to our deja vu, which is now 2. And it says that we now discard this to memories. Now, I don't know where memories are, so we're just going to plop it all the way off to the side off camera here. That's where our memory pile is going to be. All right. Finally, we do phase 6, which is, we just did that. We discarded the story card to memories, and we're going to draw 621 from the locked pile because that's what it told us to do next. And the locked pile does not get shuffled. That is in numerical order because these are story focused things. And you can see on the top of this one, we have the duder that we're talking to, a thief, right? Yeah. All right. So that is the end of the first round. I guess that's what we're calling that. I guess we call that a round. We call that a round. I don't know what we call it. Each turn, that was a turn. So now we're on the second turn. So if we were playing this 2 players, we would have done that. Second player would then do this whole process, and then we do this whole process, and so on and so forth. Okay. There is no, you know what? I have half of a cookie that I started eating before I started filming this, just sitting on a table over there taunting me. Just want you all to know that I'm going to keep looking wistfully over at this chocolate peppermint cookie on the other table. Okay, anyway. Next turn, phase 1. There is no event icon nor deck action icon on this card, which are things that would be on the top in those like little circle things. Um, there is another key code which we must ignore because we don't have it anywhere now. We're going to read the narrative section. According to a Thebe, I had known him for many years. I asked whether I was the same person as before. Surprised, he answered that I had always been me. How could I be me and also another? I explained how I felt connected to other dreamers as if they were part of me, yet looked outwardly different. Athebe suggested perhaps it was the city's curse that prevented its citizens from forming new memories. He explained that produce had to be shipped here because it would not grow in Uthnagai, and no children were ever born, because change and the act of growing required the blessing of Kronos, the Lord of Time. The reaction options, again, all have skill tests. And you can see on the bottom, one of these requires another card to be in play to talk about it, and we don't have that card. So our options here are, luckily a thief has a ship and thus can escape the city. You can ask for passage to another port. Or if lore 121 is in play, which is not, you can ask him about the city, or you can inquire if he is willing to sell any spice. We're going to try to get him to sell some spice. So this is a trade test difficulty 3. You can see that on the bottom there. So we're going to try to do this trade desk difficulty 3. So what we're going to do, we have a base of 3 fortune runes, which we always start with. We have these 3 runes are always in our rune pool, and we're using metal ones today because I like how they feel. Her trade skill, she has a trade skill here on her thing. You can see it's got the little hands. She's a little handsy. She's got the trade skill. So that is going to give us a 4th one. And number 8, which is those earthly coins we had before, is going to give us another one. So we have a total of 5 of these runes that we can throw for this test. We're going to decide to also add the special rune from here, and that means we're going to throw 6 runes. So normally what we would do is we would take all of these runes and we would shake them up and we would toss them in here and then see what we can match up. However, because this is a tutorial, we are told specifically what we are going to do, which is we're going to have this over here, and we're going to have this over here, and then we're going to have a whole bunch of sides that, oh, that's the wrong one. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of sides that don't match. Now, I don't even know how we would know that they are the sides that don't match. I see. Okay. And I think I see. Okay. So these, and so we end up with this. So we can match a star from this main one, but these little ones, if we try to match them, you can see they don't make a star. They make a poopy head. They were like this. Now they make a star. And it's very hard to tell the difference. And I think I agree with all the reviews saying it's a wonky system. But we're going to see how it plays out as we go. But here's what we roll, which is only 2 successes. And so therefore we failed because we needed 3. So we're going to take that away. This goes back on here. These 3 go back into our pool because we always have 3 of these. And then the others are going to go back off to the side. So we're going to have to flip this card over and resolve the failure because we failed. So now on the fail side, you'll see there's 3 different options depending on which way it failed, right? So we failed on the trade desk. So the trade desk, the trade test. There's been a lot of trade desk at work. Anyway, sorry, my friend, said Athebe. All of my spices are sold. Maybe next time, eh? Says there's no spice available. The penalty shows 2 hunger tokens, which are these little like vampire looking things. But we don't have any hunted condition cards, so we can completely ignore that penalty. This card also gets discarded to the memory, so this would get added back into that deck on a future play, but for now, it's gone, it's done, it's over. And because no other card is specified, we will draw a new story card from the realm deck. I did not look up this one in advance, but this says that we are going to draw a card 618 according to the tutorial. So let's just find 618 and draw that. 618. No. No. Oh, we were supposed to flip this over. I forgot that. So when we enter a location, we flip it over and there's an action in the middle that's something we can do whenever a card has that green exclamation point. And then on the right is a whole bunch of things that happen whenever the event tracker moves forward, whenever we're in this row. Because I guess things get worse as you're in the same row. But we'll see. Okay. So this card in the upper left-hand corner has the little red event icon. So the first thing we're going to do is raise the event track by 1. And spot number 1 on this event card says that will trigger the green thing. So we can do rest and relaxation. For a while, the beauty of the city is pushed back and my nightmare clears. And we can raise our vitality stat by 2 or our says or our sanity by 1, but it says here that we're raising our vitality by 2, so that's what we're going to do. Vitality goes up 2. I guess there's no maximum vitality. Okay, now we're going to read the narrative on the card. Attracted by the roaring water, I came across a beautiful bridge, arcing over the narrow gorge through which the Naraxa flowed. The rushing river frothed in brilliant white cascades over glistening rocks covered in verdant green mosses and liverworts. Spots of color flitted here and there as a myriad of long-tailed butterflies. I don't know why I'm using a British accent when she's from Louisiana, but whatever. Long-tailed butterflies arrived to lick minerals from the wet rocks. But even in this tranquil setting, I noticed Cthulhu's influence. Cthulhu's influence is everywhere. As the butterflies took flight, larger, ugly birds with crossed beaks swooped down to snatch them away. The locals clapped each time another insect was eaten. Now, you'll see under reaction options on the lower right here, whenever we do this card, all the time, we can get +1 to our sanity. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we can choose one of these other 3 tests. So we can either pause to observe the butterflies, which is an observer 2. If card 7 is in play, which it is not as far as I could tell, we could do this Brainiac thing. Or we can just move and follow the river's path through the city using the little foot action. And we're going to use that little foot action. And now on the success side of little foot action, it says, following other citizens led me to a wide pool. And this means we discovered a new location. First, we can gain the rewards for this. You'll see here there's a little experience point cube on the right, which means we get an experience point. Um, and the other rewards are skill bonuses, which can be spent later to add a fortune rune to our pool, or saved up towards gaining a skill mastery card. And we are going to choose to save that. And saving these means we put it like under the playmat here where you can't really see it. So instead of putting it under the playmat, I'm going to slide her up and we're going to put it in here. And so now we have this reward that we can use later. And if you recall, or if I said, and for maybe I didn't even say it, but we can carry 13 items and 6 reward cards. So that's one of our 6 reward cards. All right. So now to discover the location, we flip over portal card number 20 for the iridescent pool. Ugh. What is it? How do I know? How do I know it's? It just has a pool. It doesn't really say the number, but sure. But here's the iridescent pool. So we have this black and white and gray iridescent pool. It's locked, but we're there now, so we can flip it over and we're automatically going to be on this location. So while we're on this location, the exclamation mark thing does a whole different set of stuff, and there's a bazillion symbols here that I don't remember what they are, but that is going to be here, and we're now at this iridescent pool. All locations have a linked story card, which in this case is 671. Oh, so this automatically, that's the end of the turn, and this is the start of the next turn. We moved there in the end of the turn, and this is a new turn. So all locations have a linked story card, which in this case is story card 671. So we're going to draw story card 671. And on card 671, on the upper left-hand corner, it has that little location symbol that matches the pool and the art that matches the pool, so we know that's where we are. So we're going to read this narrative. Here the Naratsa rushed over multiple tumbling cataracts bisecting the city. The king had employed fine artistes and architects to release their imaginations and fashion the most sumptuous platforms, viewpoints, and arching bridges to cross the river. Following other citizens, I came across a deep pool overhung with elegant willow and plum. Visitors would throw in coins for wishes or feed the brightly dappled fish, swirling languidly through the crystal clear waters below. Equally colorful and noisy finches warbled in the low-hanging trees. So as long as, after reading the narrative, what do we do here? Hold on. Okay, so after reading the narrative on the right, this says we draw lore card 163. Okay. And this has, which shows matching key codes that match the river you can see on the left there. So as long as this card, I think these lore cards go here. As long as this card is in play, we will be able to find this location in the future if we match that key card to story cards. This also shows the exclamation mark on the left there. So we can use that to activate this wisest of fish string of abilities, which there's a lot of things I don't understand there. This would require a hammer 4 test. Yeah, right. And if successful, we would get to roll 1 elder die. And if it is a star, we would get lucid +1. And if it's a blank, we would get sanity +2. And if it's a Cthulhu, we will get sent to a different realm completely, which shows, oh, it's going to be a different realm that shows this symbol in the upper right hand corner. So it would send us to Ulthar. Because you can see here on the upper right hand corner, we have that gatey symbol for Uthar. We're going to skip the deck action and return to 671, finish reading the narrative, and choose a reaction. From this point forward, we are on our own. Great. Okay. So that tutorial did not teach me very much. It's going to be a lot of rule digging. So we've got a few options here. We can. We can either observe the fish or enjoy the tranquility, or we could potentially feed fish or make a wish. I am going to observe the fish. Okay, here we go. Observing the fish. The changing colors and patterns of swirling fish were mesmerizing, pulling and tugging at forgotten memories. We're going to get +1 deja vu. Okay, so that, and then on the bottom right, there's this little, it looks like a recycle symbol. So we're going to figure out what that means. After completing this, that doesn't tell me anything. Okay, this little recycle symbol. Recycle a story card back into its realm or location deck. So this is going to go back in here. Okay. So we're, does that mean, so we have to go back to that location to find it again? I think. I'm not sure. Um, Locations. Oh wait. No, this is different. The recycle story card back into its realm or location deck. So this, okay, I'm sorry. So this card gets recycled under this location as it's part of this location, I think. Um, Now if sorry, this is confusing. You have to complete the story card, describe its memories are beneath its location card. Then begin at phase one. Okay, so phase one is draw the top story card from the active realm deck. Okay, so I guess we can only go to we have to like find that symbol whenever we want to go back there and try one of those other options. Otherwise, we're just going to keep digging through here. Is how I understand that. I might understand that wrong. I don't even know how I'm going to find out if I do. But anyway, we now have 680. This has the event symbol on the upper left, so we're going to advance that. And our advancement here means we get a plus hunger, but there's no hunger. Is that a that's a super hunger? But I don't think there's any super hunger things on the board, so I don't think it does anything to us. Maybe I'm getting this wrong again. There's a potential for lots of wrongness here. I followed a caravan of complaining dromedaries to the great bronze gates of the city. Songbirds warbled in wicker cages as the oddly snouted palish merchants, replete with new purchases, waited to leave the city. Watered and fed, these strange creatures in their shroud-wrapped cameliers were excited to head out again on the long trek south through the mystical Tenarian hills into lands unknown to Western dreamers. I longed to go with them, for although this was just a dream, I was still in awe of the wondrous visions it represented. So we have a choice where we can learn about the routes south of the city, which is a map test of 2. That's not easy. We can leave the city, which is we would shift. We could either shift to a mountainy looking thing, which I don't see, so I don't know what that symbol means. Maybe it's like an expansion, or we can choose which location or realm we shift to if we wanted to leave the city of Celephaïs. I think. That's confusing. You choose which realm. Use of the deck that we've specified. So why I'm not sure why it says this specific one and oh maybe that's telling us where we follow them if we go to that symbol, but I don't know. Or we can return to explore Celephaïs. We're gonna stick around and return here, so we're gonna flip this over and do the return to Celephaïs thing. And here we go. Here's the success. There were answers yet to uncover in Cephas, so I turned away from the promise of the great gates for now, descending back into the city. And this gives us another set of potential things we can upgrade. And if we ever have 4 of the same trait, we can use that to get a permanent upgrade to that skill, which makes it much more better. Okay, so we're going to do the next card. I guess. I had followed a richly dressed group of Celephaïans to the rose crystal palace of 70 delights. This grand edifice was not only the political home of King Kuranes, but the seat of government for the city and entire kingdom of Uth-Nargai, stretching from snow-clad Mount Iran to southern mist-haunted tip of the Denarian Hills. I mingled with an exotic crowd, taking refreshment amongst abundant roses lining the marble colonnade. Occasionally, a few at a time would enter the magnificent building through the doors, guarded by the splendidly liveried Indigo Guard with their shining ceremonial Sovnya. This does have a key on the bottom left, but we don't have that symbol, so we have options of trying to overhear a conversation, um, in, ingratiating yourself with some of the visitors, or trying to follow the emissaries. So overhearing a conversation only takes 2 successes, whereas the sneaky one would take 4. I don't feel comfortable at all trying to get 4, so we're gonna try to. Would I get 1 extra thing for that? No, we're gonna just try to overhear the conversation. So we get our 3 things. We get 1 because I have that skill, and we're gonna take this here because it's gonna be rough, and this is gonna be the first time that we throw the runes for real. Okay, so we got our star one in the middle. That looks like a star. It's very hard to tell. I don't think that's a star. I don't think that's a star. I wait. How do I? This looks like a star. That's a good star. But this is not a good star. I think it looks like a star. It's like, is it a star? Is it not a star? I don't really know if it's a star. I think this one's bad, but I think that gives us 1, 2, 3 successes, which is enough to overhear the conversation. We don't get experience cubes, but here we go. Much of the conversation centered around. Oh, that's the wrong side. Uh, most talk concerned a new political power play between Karane's advisor Satarsis and the city senate under Giovanni. With Karanis gone, Satarsis was challenging the old order, and that's another reward card for us. So we can pop that under here. Because we want to wait till we get 4 of the same symbol, right? Is that right? Am I doing this wrong? I have no idea what I'm doing right or wrong anymore. Let's try rewards. Used immediately. Oh, that's a potential stat increase. Yeah, I guess that's all that we really have there. Okay. All right. We're going to the next thing. Ugh. So I guess we just kind of go through the whole deck one at a time, is what it feels like, but sure. The street of pillars was famous for its lofty statues with real orchids entwined about them. This time I headed up the onyx slab processional way to the turquoise temple of Nath Horthat, built 10,000 years ago by the 80 orchid wreathed priests who still worshipped there. For time had no dominion in Celephaïs, its people living in perpetual paradise. The temple, dedicated to the Leonine Nathorthath, great, virtuous great one and god of the city, watched over the seaport from its massive triple domes, shining with colored slate and aquamarine marble, while mezuzin voices rolled pleasantly out across the city's rooftops. So we've got a few options here. They are. We can pay our respects to the great ones, doing a magic test of 3. We can visit the Museum of Antiquities, which takes us somewhere. We can speak to the priest, which is a performance of 2, or seek an audience with the high priest, which is a sound of 4. So we're going to visit the Museum of Antiquities. Now, if we do that, I think we don't flip the card. And I was checking the back just to make sure. If you choose an option that says end the encounter or indicates another story card, we don't claim any rewards or penalties. So we're just going to pop this right into our memories and draw 623 from here. 623. Into the Museum of Antiquities. It's got a little. The Eastern Wing was an impressive museum of antiquities. I was astonished that my dream could furnish the detail I saw now. Tall jet statues of the elder goddess Eubastis, the petrified hand of Zik Cho, the sorcerer king, exquisitely detailed armor of the blue-skinned Cictadel, even the ivory throne of serpent-headed Queen Gisard, who almost tricked Kuranis, but lost both her kingdom and her head instead. Most of the antiquities, however, had some connection to the Great Ones, the lost gods of the Dreamlands. A replica of the golden mace of Nathorthoth, the Everflow water pitcher blessed by Kranos, and the silver jade flute of Nodin's charioteer. So we can, there's two symbols on the right there, which I don't have matching things of either of those, as far as I can tell. We can remain in this section, or find the area dedicated to the Elder Gods, or study the collected history of the Dreamlands. I don't have any smarty brain, so we're going to find the area dedicated to the Elder Gods instead. We get an experience cube. Many powerful gods were presented here, including Hypnos, Ulthar, Thrawn, Megathe, and others. I left a small offering to each, and I get one lucid dreaming. My rewards here are not the same as that previous set of things. This set of rewards means that I can get one automatic success if I use it, or I can re-roll the pip die once. But I am starting to run out of skills here, out of abilities here. We're going to take this, and put it under here because those are skills, and this is skills, and this is actual ability things to use. That gives us a free success for something in the future, which could make us be a little bit more daring, I think. But we'll see. All right, next card. Yeah. All right, still no other symbol. The sprawling bazaar of sheep butchers extended from the cluster of minarets known as the Five Needles to the jeweler's corner by swift-flowing Naraxa. It was here that the old chief of Celephaïs' cats dwelt, sleek and content from the constant banquet of offal scraps thrown out by the meat traders. A street vendor was offering sticks of tasty-looking sweetmeats. This bazaar was also famous for quality, dyed, and embossed leather goods. The craftsman gestured to me from beneath an awning. Honored client, your order is now ready. This one's got some little cat-looking symbols that we don't have, but we can choose to try to barter with the merchant for trade too. Pause to enjoy a sweet snack for investigate 3. Search for the old chief of cats with observation 2. Or search for the son, the potion seller with a map of 2. I want to look for the chief of cats. I don't know why, but that's what I want to do. So we get 1, 2, 3. We get one of these. I'm going to roll my special thing again. It worked out well for me last time. Maybe it'll work out well for me this time too. And it didn't. Okay, so let's see here. That's 1. Yeah, I think this is 2. Yep, so that's 2. And then I got the goobity gobbity symbol. So when I get the goobity gobbity symbol, I don't remember what I do, so I'm going to look it up. When I get the goobity gobbity symbol, I causes +1 curse. So that is, we get this white curse, and this goes where? Oh, it goes over an ability slot. So if I leveled up, that would block one of my abilities, and then when that's full, it blocks one of my skills, is what happens. But I did pass the test. I got the 2 successes I need, so that's good. And here's where we're at. Many cats gathered around a large gray Maltese reclining on the onyx pavement. I realized that currently I had no idea how I could communicate with them. Well, that's really useful, but the good news is I now have 3 observation thing. So I can use that to upgrade my observation skill with this little yellow cube. I think. Wait, or is it 4? Oh, nope, it's 4. It's not 3. Never mind. I can't do anything yet. Wow, so it's hard to get 4 of the same thing because you might need to do other stuff. That's scary. Okay, well, it is what it is, what it is, what it is. That was that. Next. No. Okay. 607. My rickshaw dropped me off at the multi-leveled gardens below the palace. Marble terraces sheltered beneath swaying esmeralda and tamarind trees, or fragrant groves of cypress and cedar. Admiring the blazing red tones of oleander and blushing rhododendrons, I followed the pleasant scents of clary sage and jasmine, coming across a series of cascading waterfalls and ring-leaded pools, where a dark-skinned woman sat intensely watching glinting silverfish. Wide steps followed the rushing water into a natural maze amongst the stepped cliffs, while nearby a covered awning offered welcome refreshment. And this has a little symbol in the lower right that I don't have. I can choose to rest in the shade and take some refreshment, approach the dark skinned woman, or follow the steps behind the waterfalls. I have a talkie skill thing, so I can try to get these 3 successes with the dark skinned woman. I have like an auto success from this card. And I don't want to just sit around like a ninny. So we're going to go ahead and try this. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 for me, 4 for my skill, a 5th one for the a 5th one for the feathered hat, and I'm going to use the strange heirloom again because I'm trying to get a whole bunch of successes. And I got a curse thing again because of course I did. Let's see if we have any successes out of this bunch. This looks like it is a success. This is not. This none of these are successes. So that is only 1, and I need 3. And I unfortunately can't use this in any way useful. What can you use deja vu and lucid dreaming for is kind of the question here. Um, for who remembers anything like that? Deja vu lets us shuffle a card from the memories back into the realm deck. Uh, gain 1 master rune for the next test. Too late for that. Lucid dreaming would let us add a high fortune rune to the pool for the next test, but it's too late for that. None of that's going to be useful. So that's going to be a failed test. So on the fail side, down here, we tried to talk to her. The ebony woman looked up briefly, then pretended to ignore me, even though I was sure I had been recognized. This is going to give us another white cube here, and it's going to have what does this symbol mean? I don't like it. What is it? Minus 1. I think that's saying we have to discard an item card. I think. I think it says discard an item card. Yeah, gotta discard this item card. So this is gonna go back into its deck. Well, that happened. And then this goes to memories, and then we draw the next card from here. Right. Finding the traveler's outfitter was proving exceedingly difficult. Locations of streets and buildings were not fixed. Courtyards led to stairs that spiraled up minarets that then returned to stairs or out onto flat roofs. The city shifted about, the architecture changing position each time I visited. Only the Grand Harbor, street of pillars, and palace were easy to find. The cheery laughter of gaudy crowds grated on my nerves, so I ducked onto narrow stairs offering succor from a relentless sun. In the shadows sat a figure so horribly burnt that it seemed almost carbonized. I can try to remember where I have seen this poor wretch before, which will cost me a deja vu. I could demand it leave me alone, pulling free of its gruesome grip, or remain to see what it wants. I'm going to go ahead and spend that deja vu to try to remember because I need to make some progress here. Hopefully, I will with this. This anguished revenant had previously tried to pass on a message. Perhaps I would listen this time. I can either flip or end the encounter, or I can recycle this to an alternative circle. What does that mean? Oh, so I can take this card and put it into. I can take this card and put it into a different realm. Or I can flip this over and choose a different outcome. I'm going to flip it over and choose a different outcome. I'm going to remain to see what it wants. I leaned in to listen to the whispered warning. The broken face peeled apart like a starfish, revealing thousands of barbs. Flip and read the fail. Whoops. All right. So this is now. It's going to be a. This is awful. We hate this. This is. I'm going to need to fight it. I mean, I have to do. I think I have to do a fight two test, and then bad things happen. So okay. So I have one, two, three, four with fight. I might as well flip my special thing again because I got to get two successes and I don't have no skills to help with fight. It's gonna be terrible. And of course, I get the Cthulhu icon again, which is probably going to be what my whole life is like. I got one success, so I'm going to use my auto success from this other thing to avoid what that badness is. Um, I kicked viciously and the thing collapsed, a burnt out corpse once more. I still get another Cthulhu thing, which means I have to put a red Cthulhu thing on one of my skills. So that's gonna go. Does it have to cover an existing skill or can I put it on the blank spot? Is the question. Um, and I don't know. Where does it talk about this? Um, It is blocked for the rest of the game. It must be placed over a character's skill. Okay. Um, we're gonna put it over stealth because we've decided not to be stealthy for some reason. Yeah, this flipping the things mechanic is really not great for me. It's a lot of luck. It's not great for me, but that goes away. What happens if we run out of cards here? Well, I guess we'll find out in an hour. um, I have yet to feel like I have any real sense of agency, but we'll see what happens as we go on. Recent confrontation with Crosby cultists had forced me to weave an erratic course through a maze of sun-drenched buildings. Believing escape was now possible, I chose a cramped and overshadowed alleyway ending in a small, forgotten courtyard surrounding a singular portal, an ornately carved sandstone door with a circular seal. Two defaced shishi lions stood guard on either side, their heads lying on the steps. I touched one and immediately felt a flicker of deja vu. We only have a few options here. The door, of course, is locked. You may search for the entrance for clues, or you can try to repair the statues as best you can, or you can try to review your memories of these statues. I'm going to try to review my memories, the statues, because that went so well last time. Nathorthas statue of the turquoise temple held a cute clue about the forgotten shrine. Is this the forgotten shrine? I guess this is the forgotten shrine. And flip, I think that means I must flip, or does it mean I may flip? Nope, I have to flip it. Okay, let's go back to the other side. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna try to search the entrance for clues. I'm not. Yeah, I might as well use this thing again because otherwise I'm never gonna get three if I don't use it. But I also think I'm just gonna keep getting the nasty symbol. I do have something that'll give me a free observation win, but oh, good. Uh, finally, not death. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That looks good. It's one good. It's good. That's bad. Is that good? That looks good. Is that good? That looks good. I think those all look good, right? I don't even know anymore. I don't know what I'm looking for. Okay, so we have one, two, three, four successes, which is what we needed. So we did good for once. A litany to Nath-Horthath read, "By the light of dawn will Nath-Horthath bring justice, vigor, wisdom, and mercy to the world." It was a clue, but what did it mean? We're going to get lore card 142. Okay. This is an amber shrine and its knowledge. I had found an almost forgotten shrine dedicated to Nath-Horthath in the back streets of Celephaïs. I was intrigued to enter, but someone seemed intent on preventing me from doing so. I was sure the door lock was a puzzle I had to solve. Each key code link will yield a clue, revealing the story code 6 something something. So I know we've seen this on one of the other cards before, these things on the left. But now if I find those things, I can get a hint for this thing. So that's something new. And then we do get some reward potentials here, but I don't think we have anything that is going to help us increase a skill. We're gonna pop it on down there. And we're gonna keep exploring until something. We're gonna keep playing until something really interesting happens today. I don't know if we'll find something, but we're gonna try. I had escaped the Crow's Beak cultists by hiding in a dockside cavern, avoiding a rowdy crowd of foul-mouthed dockers. I sat down at a corner table whose sleeping occupant was heavily swaddled in cloth wraps. The chair creaked, and immediately he awoke, unraveling from his robes like a moth from a chrysalis. His wide misshapen mouth was indicative of the northern traders from Lang, while his sudden grin was disconcerting and ingratiating equally. He observed me with bloodshot eyes while producing a grotesquely carved red bottle, which he pushed across to me. I get lure card 26. He's giving me a bottle. Okay, lure card 26 is. Oh, he's a crafty merchant, and this is a status. Now, the shifty eyed merchant had traded in the horrible villages of Lang and far beyond the pass of Resin. His knowledge of the land was exemplary, but did I trust him? So, this would give us an additional shaky while he's with us. And then there's like a little eye side as well that links to other things. Skill bonus applies only on story cards involving merchants. I put that there. Then we have the trader offers you a challenge. You can wager your belongings against the drink for a chance to gain unusual or rare items. We can either choose to play the drinking game or tell him we're not interested. We'll play it this time because why not? Okay. So this is a bunch of symbols again. I think what this means is we can spend any number of our barter token things in order to roll the elder die that many times. For every blank, we lose 2 health. For every Cthulhu symbol, we test our brain versus 3. For every elder sign, we can choose to get an item. And if we get 2 elder signs, a different item, and 3 elder signs, a different item. I don't like any of that. We have our shaky here. That gives it, that's 2, that's 1. I don't want to lose this bad week because that gives us another option to do another thing. But I have to barter something. So I guess I have to barter this. I have to trade. I have to lose this in order to get two dice rolls. And I don't want two dice rolls. I want one dice roll. But that was worth two, so we're gonna get two dice rolls. Okay, and that's gonna be this. Ugh. Do I have any rerolls for that? No, I don't. That's gonna be this nasty die. Now, when we roll the nastier die, do I have? Thing that will let me reroll. Nope, that's for skill tests. We're just gonna have to roll it and see what happens, and maybe we'll get killed. Maybe we'll die. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows anything anymore? I know nothing. All right, let's see what we get. That is a Cthulhu symbol. So now we have to test our brain versus three. Our brain is. We don't have a note. We got no brains. We got absolutely no brains. We are brainless. Well, I guess it is what it is. I mean, there's no way to get three things with no brain. Do I want to use a lucid dream thing? That lets me do something, right? I could spend a lucid dream to get one of these that adds three potential wins, but I think it's still impossible. So yeah, we tossed it out, we lost. We have to stop rolling and read the entry opposite. Okay, I had no idea what ingredients were in the wine, but its potency could not be denied. After the first couple of gulps, the room began to spin, and all I could focus on was the red eyes and that grinning mouth. I awoke to the plaintive mocking cries of seabirds and a taste of salt. So we have to do two fade tests for every item in place. He's gonna steal all of our stuff. Okay. And the fade test is fade test. Fade test. We roll the elder die. If the symbol shows goobity gobbity, it's bad. Okay. So each item is going to need to do two fade tests. Okay. So first for the feathered hat. 1, 2, it's safe. Then for the strange heirloom, safe. Then for the thagweed, safe. Whew. That was scary. Then we have to choose. We have to either move to the I don't even see what these things are. It says we have to move to either a spinny ship place or we have to move to a gated gate place, but I don't even see those cards, so maybe those are maybe those are expansion realms. Yeah, that's expansion realms, which I haven't opened yet. So instead, I have to take another one of these bad things. We're gonna put that over fighty. That was terrible. All right. Well, we're gonna keep going. We're making no progress. As if another part of me summoned its wayward Oh, this has an event, so we go up one, and the event for three is we get +1 deja. Right. As if another part of me summoned its wayward kin, I was drawn through the pleasantly busy streets to the white stone quay, where citizens would meet to watch the exotic fish or listen to the chatter of songbirds in the cypresses. Crouching by the deep pool, I cupped one hand to drink. There was a strangeness to my reflection, definitely still me, but with clothing and belongings different. Somewhat unnerved, I flicked in a black stone, only to dodge aside as my reflection returned a pale white replacement. I can throw one of my items into the water, which will make me lose the item and do a test for one, I can see how my reflection reacts to my touch, which is brainy, or I could wade into the pond and see what happens. Well, the only thing that I have a possible chance of succeeding at is wading into the pond to see what happens. So we're gonna wade into the pond and see what happens. Gosh, help me. Okay. And we get another Cthulhu symbol. And that is a match, and this is a match. So that's two. That's the successes I need at least. So the waters of Sky and Naraxa intermingled as my fragmented selves crossed paths and changed places. We get one lucid dream, and we must switch to the realm of the Valley of Skull. Um, okay, so that's not a you may, that's a you must. Um, the good news is I do now have the four things that I need to upgrade my observation, so we can do that. And then I have to go to the Valley of Skull. Now, how do I do this is the question. How do I change realms? Okay. Changing realms, changing realms, changing realms. Changing realms. Changing realms. Shuffling dreams. Return the previous portal card to its deck, then activate the portal for the victim. Okay, so I'm going to take this and we're going to move this over here. Move this over here. We're going to take the Valley of Skull. I guess this pool stays in case it does a thing, because it doesn't say anything about locations. Anyway. Oh no, we had left this location already, so that should have gone back here, and this should have gone back here. I'm not sure if that's accurate. I think it is. It might not be. There's a lot happening. I'm a little confused. That's okay. So this goes here. The Valley of Skull comes here, flips over. This our event. Does our event track go back down to zero? Yes, so the event track goes back down to zero. Do we keep all of the, I guess we keep all of these lore cards and we can eventually go back to Celephaïs, this. And then I need a pile of these for that. And so, yeah, I guess that's it. That was it. Okay. All right. I think I'm doing this right. I'm not sure. We're going to a new place. We're in the Valley of Skull. It's got a little bit new art. Boom. A little bit new art. Oh, here's the front of it. It's very pretty. We went through the river and here we are. This has an event already, so we raise this. That's going to raise our sanity by one. Traveling by river was much safer than overland. Rumors proliferated of the land morphing and changing to new alien aspects. Having found a friendly boat to take me, I had fallen asleep, but now awoke, finding myself alone and adrift. Had I been abandoned? I looked over the side to see my own reflection, distorted by a halo of waving river grass. It was definitely me, yet also not me. Details were changed facial features, my clothes, my hair. I was many faces combined. Unnerved but fascinated, I thought of reaching out. This has the event symbol on it, the location symbol on it. So the once idyllic pastoral lands now brooded expectantly like the air before a thunderstorm, and I can remove a white curse. I can either reach out to touch my reflection, study the image from the boat, or pretend to offer the reflection something. We are going to study the image from the boat because I do not want to go back through the. I don't want to go back through the water again. I do have something that will give me a free success if I need it. So there's a potential of doing well here. But of course, I'm going to get one of these stupid things instead. Um, okay, that is not good. That is not good. That is not good. So that's zero successes. So I definitely fail. Oh my goodness. The creature that rose from the water had webbed hands and face full of needle teeth. So I have to try to evade it now, and I don't have any evasion stuff at all. So it's just going to be this to try to get two successes um, to try to escape. Oh, that's one. Keeping. That's two. That's three. That's four. That's the biggest success I've had so far. So I smacked it back in the water and escaped, and all that happened is I got another one of these, and this goes here. All right, next day, next turn. 401. I floated on a river the color of blood. I need some water. This is a lot of reading, y'all. Lots of reading in Dreamescape. I floated on a river the color of blood, sailing along an open vein, the surrounding body of land nourished by it. I thought of other rivers connected to this one, stretching far across the dreamland realms, all draining into the world's ocean. My perception shifted to a bird's eye view of the serpentine river below, and spotted pale things pacing my boat, too large, too sleek for fish. Naturally, I swooped to observe them, and with a sudden cold flush of horror, I realized I was far up in the sky. Panicked, I plunged, screaming towards the rocks, waiting like jagged teeth below. I hit the waters. I can either hit the waters barely a splash, but alert nearby swimmers. I can either see who they are, try and reach my boat, or hide amongst the thick weeds. I mean, I'm gonna see who they are because otherwise I'm gonna freaking die. I have a yellow thing now. I think that means that I get a different cube, a different something. I leveled that up, but I don't know what this means. I know that this was a good thing. So what does it mean? Skill mastery. I get a master token instead of a regular one. Okay. So I have a decent fudge. We're still gonna use this thing. Ugh, this stupid strange heirloom. I hate everything. I hate it. Oh, that's good. That's one, two. That's more than enough. I'm not gonna count the rest because it's annoying trying to count those. And oh, I get an experience cube, so I'm getting some stuff. Uh, a grotesque toothy jaw and rolling viscid eyes sought me out. I darted away. So I guess I get that experience point before I read this, which means that I could do other things. So I have to flip this back over and do either the sneakiness or the defense one. But it's against three instead of four now, so I have a better chance. I don't have sneaky or defense anymore. So I need to get three successes. My only chance at that is going to be to roll the big cube again, and that was oops. This shouldn't have even been rolled. So I definitely didn't get enough, but I got another white Cthulhu thing. Here's the fourth one. Oh, I guess there's only three because you can only fill up that many, and I failed. So I succeeded, then I failed. They were more adept at swimming than I, and swiftly caught up. The hunt was on. I have to discard two items. Well, goodbye to everything that I had. I have no items now. So that item limit's really not doing much. Not doing much. Um and this is gonna be drawing story card 440. Lovely. It's gonna be terrible. Oh no, it does. It looks terrible. This looks awful. Look, it's got a thwonky thwonk on it. This nightmare drove me into ever increasing danger. Hunted beneath the water in a body not my own was a novel and deadly situation. I darted into thick river weed as the long armed fishmen searched. Great hands tore at the vegetation, sought my tender flesh with their rending claws. In doing so, they swirled up the river sediment into a fog of particles thick enough to hopefully blind them, as if all the unnameable things from the ocean's deep were after me. I can either use my strength that doesn't to reach the boat, my smaller size and agility to outrun them, or deceive them by swimming erratically. Well, at least I get an extra thing if I try to do my strength, so I'm going to try to do my strength. And wish us luck yet again. Oh my god. We need three successes here. Oh god. Right, I got the important thing. Then we have this. That's a success. And then we have that's a success. And then we have I think that's a six. That's four. All right, I survived. Where did I put the tracking card? Oh, right here. So we used our strength to reach the boat. Oh, we get an experience cube. I now have enough experience to do a thing. I think that just lets me heal one. You can use experience. Um, you can get something from the current position or below, and then return the experience marker. But you want to try to get all the way to the end because that lets you get like a permanent talent thing. So yeah, all right. Powerful caudal muscles propelled me through the water as foul-webbed paws reached out to ensnare. I reached the boat just out of reach and hauled myself aboard. I get one sanity. Is that max? Is that why does it change color? I don't know. And this is another set of potential skills that I can learn later on. But, okay, so I survived that batch of fishmen. The river broadened rapidly, sluggish and slow-moving as it neared the polluting sprawl of Dilathlian Lane. The eerie false colors of the sky were replaced by a permanent ceiling of smoke above thousands of angular smokestacks belching the outpourings of industry. The river divided into multiple canals that wove through the urban environment, many lost to sight as they disappeared beneath arches and buildings. Dilathlian was a free port where anything could be traded so long as the price was right. I hoped I would find many answers here. This says I must just flip it over immediately. I am traveling to a different place. I am traveling to the realm of Diathlian, and there's no option. That's just what's happening. We're going, we're going to the place. So we're gonna travel realms again. So this is gonna go here. Uh, this is gonna go here. This goes away. This comes here. And this realm is going to have some pickety pockety, some trading, some talking, some deception. And this is the card for the card, and we're going to reset that to one. Now, I think if I really, really wanted to stay where I was, which I don't know enough to care anymore, but I could. I know there's a thing that let me cancel. I can discard the active card to memories without flipping it. So if I ever do that again, I can spend a lucid dream to just skip that and not come to this new place. But we're in this new place. It's dark. It's scary. It's where we are. Okay. I had suffered enough in Deathlian and needed to escape. I've been here for 30 seconds. The city's ever burning ironworks and mills had dumped their slag for centuries around the bridge foundations, covering alluvial deposits washed down from Hathik Claw and the lofty heights of Mount Larion. The water level had risen enough to flood the underworks of the city, such that a network of underground waterways now existed. It was a popular location for scavenging, illicit deals, and to barter passage upriver without drawing too much attention. Business was thriving when I arrived, as were recent rumors of partially eaten human bodies being found. Lovely. I can either gossip with the underground denizens about the bodies or book passage on one of the barges heading upriver. Well, I mean, like, I don't have any items to help me with nothing. So we're just gonna we're just gonna book passage upriver. Um, oh no, I'm gonna have to go back to that other place. The helpful captain of one of the grain barges heading back to Elder Nathar was happy to take me as far as I wished. So we're gonna have to go back there again. Now this does give me a reroll of a thing and gave me some benefits, so at least we have that. Great. So here we go. Back here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Back to the Valley of Skull. Events. So this goes back to one, which raises my sanity again. I think. I don't know. I might be wrong. I don't know if there's a maximum sanity. It doesn't really say. It just says like adds one sanity. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if there's a max. We're just gonna keep going. Um, there were no longer seasons in the Dreamlands as Cthulhu's will took hold, warping not only the land but the atmosphere also. This was one of them. A sudden chill and plunge in temperature signified a terrifying ice storm was sweeping across the Skull Valley. The sky, not sky. Oops. The river began to freeze. Hoarfrost spread from the trees like a virulent white mold. Wood cracked and splintered as I began to shiver uncontrollably. The broken sky bridge was up ahead, while closer I spotted a small dinghy below that might be a cave in the deeply eroded riverbank. And there's a location there that I can access with this card if it was present, but it's not present. I can tie up alongside the frigid cold, begins to bite. I can explore the cave or remain huddled in the boat, hoping not to freeze to death. We're going to explore that cave. I have to roll the goopy die. Let's roll the goopy die. Blank. Drag marks and strangely deep punctures in the soil left me fearful of meeting unknown visitors. I get story card 3. It is an arch of bone. It's a location. Oh, I've seen this symbol before. The scrim-shawed whalebone arch was dedicated to Phantasnos, the Hellenistic aspect of Hypnos, Lord of Sleep. Was it a route home? So there's a you can do a test of magic 4 on here, but I don't know what that would do. I guess that has to do with if I see that symbol on a card again. But I know of this location. It's here. It exists. I suppose. I don't know. Oh, and I could go back to the iridescent pools whenever I find that because I have that thing. I see. But I get a reward from this. This is my maximum number of rewards. So if I have anything I can trade in, I should do so. But I have one, two. I do not see enough symbols of anything to level up. So we're just keeping what we keep and we're going to keep going. First in ones and twos, then in greater numbers, refugees appeared through the long reeds on the eastern bank. They pushed out through the vegetation and stood still, as if contemplating the expanse of mud between them and the escape the river channel and my boat offered. I called out, but they were perhaps too far away to hear me clearly. They had few belongings and appeared dirty from a long trek. I turned towards them as I noticed quite a few of them held onto children. Weirdly, their mouths were open but made no sound. My boat may be too small to rescue them all, but I can still approach the refugees on the bank, which is a picky up 3. What is picky up? Picky up. Picky up 3. Picky up. 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 Steal, manipulate, tinker, and pick. I could call out to them, or I could try to ignore them as I sail past. Calling out to them seems to be the easiest win, so that is the one I'm going to do. Hey, come talk to me, people with children. Let's see if I got a success here. That's not a success. Really? Come on, brah. Yep, I threw 4 things, and they all came up the same way. Do I have a talkie? I don't have a talkie. I can re-roll. Is that one wound I can re-roll using this? Um, any one ruin. Yep. Okay, so I can roll this one. Now I have a 50-50 chance of making a success. Let's see. Yep. Okay, good. Whew. Guacamole. I get an experience point, and then I read the talkie entry opposite, so I would no matter fail. Okay. My ears popped and horrifically mortal screaming began. It drove into my mind, demanding I join them. Luckily, my boat sailed on regardless, and there is no other like bad thing. I just don't get the good thing. All right, next. This section of river proved to be a treacherous mix of shifting sandbars and submerged trees, such that I had to pull my narrow skiff along slowly and carefully. Bright afternoon sun set the water to a dazzling spark. Thus, I failed to notice the flat barge up ahead until close by. Oh, I used it. Until close by. Um, she must have run aground, forcing the crew to temporarily abandon her for now. The river had pushed the stern out so that she almost blocked the way ahead. I hailed any crew that might have stayed by, but received no answer. For a moment, I thought of the white ship. Oh, there's a location called the white ship. I'm realizing how long it's going to take to clean this up anytime I stop playing it because that pile of cards and resorting them is going to be a nightmare. And I'm like, no. All right. You realize this might be a perfect position for an ambush. You may pull past this obstruction. Or you can avoid alerting anyone on board as you paddle past. Or you can climb aboard. I don't want to climb aboard. I don't want to get ambushed. I'm going to avoid the ambush. I hope. I need 2 successes. I have a strength thing down here. I'm still going to use my big cube because I don't want to use that. I'll hold on to that card. And of course, you got another boop boop. Let's block the magic thing. I haven't needed that. All right, let's see if we can get 2 successes out of this mess. That's 1 success. That's 2 successes. So at least I succeeded in the strength test. I get an experience point, so that's getting on up there. Passing the stern, I noticed that the hull had been riddled with holes, as if huge termites had each taken a bite from the wood. Okay, and this goes here. Now I could have used this to upgrade my. Nope, nope. I have 2 strengthy ones. Working towards strengthy. All right, some more cards from this deck of doom. It's so weird how like it never really this never reaches the top, but oh shoot. The wild man burst out at me, charging from where he had lain in wait, a hulk in thick furs, teeth frothing and eyes agleam with frenzy that could only be madness or drugs. Semi-bald, a huge scar ran vertically down his skull. His hair was long, dark, and rank like riverweed. The few remaining teeth stained with a lifetime of chewing thagweed stems. I barely had time to register this detail before he leapt upon me, claws raking. You can only fight, and we must fight number 13. So this is going to be our first combat against this nasty ass brother trucker. Okay. And we have to start in this little thing on the top. And then as we do these skills, we might get to a point where we get a reward. We might get to a point where we lose things. There's something where I can get an item. I don't know what drawing an item looks like. There's a thing where I can get rid of a Cthulhu thing, which we really don't fucking care about because we don't need it. We don't need more sanity either. So really, I kind of want to lose this first roll and then succeed at the second roll, but I can't succeed at the second roll because that's just too hard to succeed at. So we're just going to see what happens. So first, we're going to do a fight. No, we're going to do a talkie. We're doing some talkie. We need 3 successes on a talkie, so we're going to roll our big cube. And we get a Cthulhu mark as usual. So that's 1. No, yep, that's 1. That's not 1. We would need 2 more talkie successes. We just can't do it, so we fail that. So now we have to get 4 successes on a sword, which there's just no way to make happen based on what we have here. So we fail that. We get the lose requirement of 1, 2, 3 and we failed the battle. So we're going to see what horrible things that also does to us. So that was a fight, and we failed the fight. I feel like this game is just a whole lot of failure. I fell to the ground and crawled back as the wild man roared at me like a bear. Was he just defending his home or clearly insane? That's that next card. Okay, it's an event. Event 2 here. I get card 26. Unless we already had it. I think we already had card 26, didn't we? Card 26? No. Card 26. No, it says lure card 26. I don't see a lure card 26. What happens if the card doesn't exist? Um uh Missing story cards. Well, that card doesn't exist. Maybe it's in a different deck. I'm just gonna check in case it's a different deck and they use the color. So this says, or maybe that's red. Hold on. Wait, where did I? No, that's here. No, I think that's red. Maybe it's this thing. I think it's this thing. I think it's this threat card, condition card. Sky Watchers, you are hunted. The river towns along the sky were no longer safe. Everywhere I went, I was observed, scrutinized. Locals watched me slyly, reporting on my behavior to some higher power. So if you get hunter cards on this, then other things happen. And when you move somewhere else, you remove this. So I'm getting watched by watchers. I think that's what that means. I think it's what it means. All right. Sometimes my dream would create the most magnificent of vistas, gently rocked by eddies as the sky hurried past on its way to join the Mother Ocean. I watched in awe as the post-dawn sun rose behind solitary Hatheg Kla on the horizon. The apricot dawn spilled into the wide valley, turning willow and linden trees along the riverbank a bright green. Backlit, the hovering mist on the river was like a layer of clouds I could reach out and touch. Electric blue dragonflies courted on lily pads as a dense flock of dark birds gyrated in the sky. The birds sweep down towards the river. I can either enjoy the spectacle as they skim past, huddle in the boat, or dive into the river. I'm going to enjoy the spectacle because I don't want to risk losing this strength roll. My eyes and mind confirmed too late these were not birds, but living flecks of stone. They passed through my body like machine gun bullets. Oh shoot. Okay, so this symbol here that happens when this happens means that I need to get rid of my shard card. Is that accurate? Is that really what this means? Shard card gets banished when the dreamer's shard dies. Yeah, I think that means I died. Yep. So I died. That's it. That's the end. I chose to stay and watch the birds, and I immediately died. That was just it. Learn better, do better next time. So when I lose the game, jeez Louise. So when I lose the game, I ran out of shards. That was the last shard. Um, I can't refresh saving the game because I died. So I guess I just literally clear everything and I try to remember what I've learned for next time. I'm kind of glad that happened because I'm burnt out and I'm tired. I really have no idea how I feel about this just yet. I'm gonna try to look some stuff up online when I have time, if I ever have time again. Like I'm intrigued to solve the puzzle, but I don't feel like I've learned anything at all in that playthrough. Like I have no idea what to do the same or differently when I if I come back. Well, I'll say when I come back to this again. Or if I should be putting all of these other things in, because like if I didn't have if I had already opened and mixed in this expansion stuff, I wouldn't have gotten one of these. I might not have ended up on that boat. I don't really know what I should be mixing in when and where and how. And that's some questions I have as well. But that's it for right now. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Unlike Rosalind Gutierrez, keep your health bars full. Well, I mean, her health bar was very full. She had 8 health. Just don't get pelted by a bunch of birds, I guess. Now, in a normal game, we would have started on the 2 shard side. So what would have happened there is I would have lost a shard and gained a lucid thing, and then other things would have been different. But the difference is when you start the game with 2 shards, you might start in different places. And I don't know if those places are better or worser. I just don't know. We'll have to find out in the future. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.